If you've never stolen anything, you won't understand me. And if you've never stolen roses, then you can never understand me. I, as a child, used to steal roses and receive. There were countless streets, rich people's streets, lined with mansions set amid extensive gardens. A little friend and I would often play at deciding whose mansions they were. That white one's mine. No, I already said the white ones are mine. But that one's not all white. It's got green windows. Sometimes we'd halt for a long time, our faces pressed to the wrought iron fence, staring. That's how it started. During one of those games of That's My House, we stopped before one that looked like a small castle. Behind it, you could see an immense orchard. And in the front, in well-tended beds, the flowers were planted. Yes, but standing apart in its bed was a single rose, only partway open and bright pink. I was dumbstruck, staring in admiration at that proud rose that wasn't even a fully formed woman yet. And then it happened. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted that rose for myself. I wanted it. Oh, how I wanted it. And there was no way to get it. If the gardener had been around, I'd have asked for the rose, though I knew he'd have kicked us out the way they do with street kids. There was no gardener in sight, nobody. And the windows, because of the sun, were shuttered. It was a street where no trams passed and cars rarely ever appeared. In between my silence and the roses was my desire to possess it as my very own. I wanted to be able to pluck it. I wanted to sniff it until I felt my vision go dark from so much heady perfume. And then I couldn't take it any longer. The plan formed in me instantaneously, full of passion. Yet, like the good schemer I was, I coolly devised a plan with my little playmate, explaining her role: to keep watch on the windows, or for the gardener's still possible approach, to watch out for the odd passerby on the street. Meanwhile, I slowly opened the slightly rusty gate, already anticipating the slight creaking. I cracked it just enough for my slender girlish body to slip past, and, treading lightly but quickly, I walked over the gravel surrounding the flower beds. The time it took to reach the rose was a century of my heart pounding. Then I'm standing before it at last. I stop for a second, dangerously, because up close it's even more beautiful. Finally, I start to break its stem, stretching myself on its thorns and sucking the blood off my fingers. And all of a sudden, it's completely in my hand. The dash back at the gate also had to be noiseless. I slipped through the gate I had left cracked open, clasping the rose, and then both pale, the rose and I. We literally ran away from the house. What was I doing with the rose? I was doing this. It was mine. I took it home, put it in a glass of water, where it stood magnificent, its petals thick and velvety, in several shades of pale pink. Its color grew more concentrated at the center, and its heart looked almost red. It felt so good. It felt so good that I simply began stealing roses. The process was always the same. The girl on the lookout, while I went in, broke off the stem and fled with the rose in my hand, always with my heart pounding, and always with that glory that no one could take away from me. I used to steal pitanga berries too. There was a Presbyterian church near my house, surrounded by a tall green hedge, so dense that it blocked the church from view. I never managed to catch sight of it, except for one corner of the roof. The hedge was a pitanga shrub, but pitangas are fruits that hide. I couldn't see a single one. Then, looking around first to make sure no one was coming, I struck my hand between the iron bars, plugged it into the hedge, and groped around until my fingers felt the moisture of the tiny fruit. Several times in my haste, I smashed an overripe pitanga with my fingers, which ended up looking blood-stained. I picked several that I ate right there, even a few that were too green, which I tossed aside. No one ever found out. I don't regret it. Rose and pitanga thieves get 100 years of forgiveness. It's the pitangas themselves, for example, that beg to be picked instead of ripening and dying on the branch virgins.